Hey, welcome to Science Ferb. Today, we are diving into a story that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a movie, but I promise you, it is happening for real right now. It's a breakthrough that could give us the ultimate power source and totally reshape our world. So let's start with a huge question, one that scientists have been chasing for almost 100 years. What if we could capture the very process that powers the sun and all the stars, and bring that almost magical source of energy right here to Earth? You know, answering that question wouldn't just solve our energy problems, it would end them forever. We're talking about unlocking clean, safe, and virtually infinite energy. Get this, the fuel from a single bathtub of water could have the potential to power an entire city for a year. That's for every single person on the planet. And here's the most amazing part. This isn't science fiction anymore. The revolution is here. So let's start with the core idea. This incredible dream of building a star in a bottle. Okay, so what is this star power exactly? It's a process called nuclear fusion, and it's literally the engine that runs the entire universe. It's what our sun does every single second, taking the lightest atoms out there, hydrogen, and smashing them together so hard they form helium, which unleashes a truly mind-boggling amount of energy. The dream has always been to copy that process, right here on Earth. But think about it. How in the world do you contain something that's hotter than the sun? That has always been the huge challenge, until now. And that brings us to the magnetic breakthrough that changed absolutely everything. All right, to get fusion going, you need insane temperatures. We're talking over 100 million degrees Celsius. Obviously, no material we have can handle that. So the only way to do it is to trap it in a magnetic cage. For decades, that meant building enormous magnets, which led to reactors the size of football stadiums. But that's the old way. The new tech lets us build magnets that are way more powerful, but also way smaller. Small enough to shrink a whole power plant down to the size of a big warehouse. So what was the big game changer? It's a brand new material called high-temperature superconducting tape, or HTS for short. These things create magnetic fields that are just unbelievably powerful. But there was a huge problem. Designing these magnets is so incredibly complicated that it would take a whole team of engineers months of work just for one design. This was the massive bottleneck holding the entire field back. So, how did they break through that wall? Well, they unleashed a secret weapon, artificial intelligence. What they did was they had an AI run thousands and thousands of virtual tests on these magnets, way more than any group of humans ever could. And the AI started to learn the super complex physics. It saw patterns that even our best engineers were missing. So now, a design that used to take months of painful, hard work can be done in just a few seconds. And let's be super clear here. This isn't just a tiny step up. Making the design process thousands of times faster, that took the single biggest hurdle in fusion research and turned it into a massive, massive advantage. Okay, so let's dive into this single innovation. Using AI to design these powerful little magnets, that was the key. That's what finally unlocked the door. And what happened next? It kicked off a brand new global race, the race for the sun. Fusion is officially out of the lab and becoming a real industrial reality. And this isn't just one company or one team in the race, not at all. You've got companies all over the world betting on different designs. There's the tokamak, which is kind of like a magnetic donut. That's the one we've been working on the longest. Then you've got stellarators, which have these really cool twisted shapes that are designed for steady, continuous power. And there are even hybrid ideas for building smaller, modular reactors you could place almost anywhere. And believe me, the competition is getting intense. You have major players like Commonwealth Fusion Systems building these powerful test reactors right now. And Helion, get this, has already signed a deal to supply fusion power to Microsoft data centers. This is huge. It shows the whole game has changed. We're not trying to prove the physics anymore. We know it works. The race now is all about engineering. It's about who can get a real power plant built and running first. You know, the energy and passion you see in this field is just incredible. It feels like everyone is on a mission to literally change the world. This quote from one of the pioneers in the field just sums it up perfectly. We're not waiting for permission anymore. We're building the sun on Earth. Okay, so the technology is finally here, and the race is definitely on. But that brings up a really important question, right? As we go from these lab experiments to actual power plants, how do we make sure we have a clear, safe path to get there? And this is where the government comes in, but, and this is really cool, in a super forward-thinking way, agencies like the US Nuclear Regulatory Commission are not trying to slow things down.
Instead, they're laying out clear rules of the road to give companies a safe, predictable way to actually build and run these fusion plants.
And how they're doing it is absolutely key. Instead of trying to shoehorn fusion into the old, strict rules they made for traditional nuclear power, they're building a whole new, flexible framework just for fusion. They're finishing up that rulebook this year, 2026, and they'll start looking at the first commercial designs in 2027. All of this paves the way for the very first fusion power plants to start plugging into our grid sometime in the 2030s. It's happening. Having this clear path, this roadmap from the government, gives companies the confidence they need to pour billions of dollars into building our clean energy future. It's really the final piece of the puzzle falling into place. So when you step back and look at it all, the magnetic breakthrough, the AI revolution, the race between all these companies, and now a clear government roadmap, you realize everything is happening at once. It's all coming together. The power of the stars is finally coming home. So look, the big takeaway here is simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. The promise of clean, limitless fusion energy, it's not some distant dream for our grandkids anymore. This revolution isn't decades away. It is being built right now. Thank you so much for watching this explainer. If you want to keep up with all the incredible science that's shaping our world, make sure you subscribe to Science Kep. You won't want to miss what's next.